Hello. My name is Christine. Welcome to today's financial update, and more importantly, the introduction of a huge financial goal shift for the rest of 2020. And you probably already know what it is because you read the title and it's probably there. We are moving into aggressively paying off our house. It's not gonna happen this year, but we do have a big goal that we will talk about in today's video. So first, we will review our original goals for the year, how we've done, and then the second half of the video, we will chat about the new goal and how we will hopefully accomplish that. If you guys like these kind of videos, maybe hook me up with a thumbs up. It really helps out the channel and allows other people to find the video easier thanks to that YouTube algorithm. And without further ado, let's jump into the numbers. After we go over all the things that we've accomplished, we'll check out the new goal, which is a pay off the house goal, and my face is covering the numbers right now, so you're gonna have to wait and see what happens. So if you guys didn't see my original video on our financial goals for 2020, I will leave that linked below in the doobly-doo for you. Basically, every year, Dave and I sit down together and talk about the main things we want to accomplish financially in our house. This is outside of normal bills, and normal saving for college is something that's already in the budget. So it's not something that's discussed here unless we want to do a bulk payment or something like that. So maybe Dave's like, you know what, I would really like to get a new piece of furniture this year. Or I say, you know, maybe we should start saving up for a new car. So let's go quickly from top to bottom so we can focus on the new goal for the year that I mostly want to talk to you guys about. Number one, our road trip summer vacation originally was going to be across the whole country. The whole pandemic thing changed that. Now what we are doing, if you guys didn't see in one of my previous videos, we are going to be biking as a family the Mickelson Trail in South Dakota. Actually, as you watch this video, we're probably doing it right now. Basically, I took some of the money I had previously saved and just allocated it for this, mostly for gas and probably some food. My mom is going with us, and she has booked like hotels to stay at in each city as we bike. I put $1,000 in there, what I thought a generous amount would be. The gas is probably going to be about $200 because we do have to take our Suburban, which is kind of a gas hog, and it is like a full day's drive to get there. And we're also going to see Mount Rushmore as well. Don't worry, I will be vlogging the entire thing, and I'll probably put everything together into one video when we get back. I just don't know how long it's going to take for me to edit all the footage. Next, we are looking for a camper. Actually, we decided after renting a full-size camper for our Memorial Day trip that we are leaning more towards the tent trailer. There's just a lot more pros to the tent trailer. A camper is very difficult to tow. Like, you have no visibility behind you. They're very heavy and awkward. You're very top heavy. And to pull a camper, we would probably need a bigger truck. Our Suburban is only a 1500, and we would probably need a 2500 or a diesel if we were going to pull something like that. So the tent trailer is just much lighter. It's easier on your transmission to pull with a lighter engine like that. That's kind of where we're leaning. Although right now, while we've been looking, we can't find any. I think everyone has bought them, if that makes sense. Like, everything else was closed and people couldn't do anything else, so they just decided to start camping. So all the campers and tent trailers have all been purchased, so there's really not very many for sale right now. We're kind of looking, but not super seriously at the moment. I have some cash set aside for back to school. I am going to be starting that. Well, technically, I already started it a couple days ago. I got a couple pairs of shoes from Under Armour for my boys. You know when they send out those 40% off codes? So I got a pair of shoes for Tyler and Ryan. Okay, I have money for a new dresser for Andrew, but because I basically decided to put it on hold, and I've even stopped looking at this point because Dave's office is downstairs. He has continued to work from home for several months. It doesn't look like he'll be going back until August or September. With Andrew and Ryan sharing a room, I'm just leaving it for now. The cruise was originally canceled. I have since rebooked it. I have no idea if they're going to cancel it again. I don't even think they're cruising yet, like all the companies. Anyway, we'll just see. We did get a new bike rack. It ended up being more expensive than the original one that we were looking at. You know what? Instead of talking about it right here, let me just jump over to what we did get and I'll show it to you in detail right now. Here is our bike rack. I'll also show you a picture of what it looks like hooked to the car, but it is by the company Velocirax. I will leave a link to them down below. It is made out of steel. It is fabulous. It goes onto the hitch of your car, and it has a hydraulic lift gate, so it'll go down and up really, really slowly to account for the weight of your bikes. This rack holds 6 bikes, but they also sell some that hold 7 or 5 or 4 or whatever you want. It holds it by the tire here and the tire here, so it's really sturdy and you don't have to worry about scratching your bike, which is another issue that we found with our other bike rack, which holds it by this center bar. But it is incredibly sturdy. I found a coupon code online and they shipped it right to our house. I think I saved $50 or $60 with the coupon code. So just, I mean, if you're gonna buy anything, just Google it. I just Googled like Velocirax coupon code and I saved 60 bucks. This was just under $900. I think $850 for this 6 bike rack. Yes, it's a lot, but I do need to carry 6 bikes and almost no quality bike racks do that. Kuat and the Thule that we were looking at that only holds 4 was gonna be $1,200. So I feel like we got a better deal here and we can carry all of our bikes. Highly, highly recommend this brand and rack if you guys are in the market. Next up, I did get a new bike for me. I ended up getting a brand new one from a bike shop instead of a used one. All the used ones, well, if you guys have looked for bikes recently, also because of the pandemic, everyone has decided to take up biking. And so the bike shop I had talked to, he said he had sold more bikes than he ever had in his life. Everything on the Facebook marketplace was being sold lickety split. I ended up going to one of the smaller bike shops in town, but I really, really liked them. And I ended up getting a Salsa Timberjack. If you guys want some more details on my new bike, I will insert that right here. Hey, so I'm gonna show you my bike. Sorry, I'm wearing sunglasses. It's so bright, I can't keep my eyes like unsquinted. Okay, this is my bike. It is a red Salsa Timberjack. I have thicker tires than your standard mountain bike. And I like that because it helps give stability on the trail for people who aren't that skilled at technical stuff, which I'm not. I've learned that I don't particularly like rocky trails. I'm just not very good at it yet. I'm definitely a beginner, so I have a 1x10 or a 1x11 on my gears, which means I only have 1 gear in the front, and 10 or 11, I can't remember, I think 10 in the back, which means this right side is where I shift gears. That's important for climbing. Like, you'll go to a lower gear to climb, a higher gear to go down a hill, which is a lot different than a road bike. On my road bike, I have a lot more gears. I think 21 or 24 gears, because you go a lot faster on a road bike than you do on a mountain bike. And I have found that I have not run out of gears yet. Like, I'm not going fast enough to run out of gears. So that works. I have Shimano gear shifters, which is awesome. There, can you see them? Hydraulic disc brakes, which are easier to pull than non-hydraulic. So you can just use like one finger like that on the brakes, and you'll stop really, really quickly. You don't have to get your whole hand on there and like that. Something else that I really, really like that I wasn't sure that I would like is I have a dropper post. So this, if I hit this gear right, my seat will go down. And you do that for downhill stuff. So you can get it out of your way and kind of lean back as you go down a hill to balance yourself better. And then once I'm down and I'm climbing again, I hit it again and it pops back up. I also got a hardtail, which means there's no suspension on the rear side. I only have suspension in the front. And I kind of wanted that, number one, because I'm a beginner, and number two, I'm not doing a lot of downhill cycling. Downhill bikes, you definitely want a suspension in the back as well. But because one of my specialties is climbing, I'm a good climber on the bike, I don't want all of my effort on each pedal stroke to be absorbed by a rear suspension. So that means it is a touch bumpier in the back when it's bumpy, but I'm okay with that. I can use my legs to stand up out of the seat a little bit, it doesn't bother me. And I still get all of my leg strength when I'm climbing, which is probably why I kicked Dave's butt in the climb the other day. There's my bike. Oh, I should have mentioned it's a small frame, and I'm 5'6" and I have short legs but a long torso. And because we were part of the mountain bike team in our area, he did give us a discount. So I was able to get the bike for right at $1,100, which for a mountain bike from a bike shop is a touch higher than bare minimum entry level. Like an entry level is going to be around $400 or $500, and I wanted something slightly nicer. And I've taken it out a few times, and I'm really glad I got some of the features that I got. Let's skip the house payoff because that's the new goal. We have done a couple of donations. Actually, we bumped our donation amount significantly over the last little while. We're finding different places to donate. We're huge fans of donating into education funds. Of course, I was able to match Jen Chapin's donation from her video that she had done. If you guys hadn't seen that, I'll leave it down below. Let's skip down a little bit more. I have the money to get passports for my kids, which we are going to need for a trip we have planned in 2021. It is an international family reunion trip that I'm very excited about. So I'll give you more details on that later once we know that it might actually happen. Let's jump up to the investment fund. This is a funny story. Dave and I want to invest in rental properties. So this house came up for sale. It was definitely a fixer-upper. It was like rip all the carpet, gut the bathrooms kind of a thing. But it was fairly cheap, brick house. It was kind of older, but I'm not scared of that stuff. The second I saw it, I called the realtor and I'm like, hey, I want to go look at this house right now. She got back to me very quickly and she was like, yeah, it's sold already. Full price, cash offer from an investor. It's gone. It wasn't even on the market for an hour. I'm looking, but this one is really, really hard to do an investment property because the competition is fierce, you guys. If there's a deal, it's gone basically before it hits the market. So I'm thinking, what if I get my realtor's license so I can see the stuff before it gets on the market so I can actually get something. Let's jump to the house payoff and talk about the new goal for the year. Here we go. For the rest of 2020, since I basically covered everything else, is we're going to try and get our house payment below, not our house payment, our house principal balance below $100,000. The payment is due on the first of the month. So as of July 1st, our balance was $111,206. I bumped our principal payment by a lot. I added an extra $1,000 to this. Typically, I normally pay about $1,600, $1,700 a month for the principal only, not the taxes. So my payment itself is actually higher than this. But I was like, you know what? I can throw another $1,000 at it this month, which brought my balance as of July 1st to $108,508. And then as the month progresses, some interest will be added. So the August number here will actually be a little bit higher than this $108,508 just because interest is added daily. But I do want to say a couple things about this number because I don't want you to misunderstand what I'm talking about. The balance that's left is not what we paid for the house. Okay, let's make that clear. We bought our house in 2014, so we've been in this house for 6 years. Houses were cheaper in 2014 than they are now. My house now I could sell for probably maybe $100,000 more than I bought it for, which is great. Housing prices go up and down all the time. We lost a lot of money on our first house in the 07-08 real estate crash. So we were very hesitant moving into this house. It was more than we wanted to spend at the time. It was a big stretch to purchase this house. And I do live in a low cost of living area. So I realized that my house in California, like certain parts of California, would be over $1 million. But that is not the case in my small town of Idaho. We bought it. We could not put 20% down. We had to pay private mortgage insurance every month. We took a pay cut in Dave's job to move to Idaho in the first place 6 years ago. And it was tight. It was tight. It was so tight that I donated plasma twice a week to buy groceries. I bet you guys didn't know that. Dave hated that I donated plasma, so I started babysitting, and I didn't get paid very much. I got paid, because it's so competitive here, because there's a lot of college students, I think I got paid $2 or $3 an hour to babysit at first. And then I was able to get my job with Evan, which helped a lot. And then I started teaching online, which helped a lot. But it was very, very tight. And so I want to talk about getting our house principal balance below this amount and paying your house off early. It's not sexy because it's taken years and years and years of every month squeezing every penny out of our budget and putting it on the house, refinancing to a lower interest rate when it was available to knock the PMI out of the equation. So we didn't have to pay the private mortgage insurance and get us below like our 80% loan to value ratio. I hope you know what I'm saying. If you've never bought a house, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. I have a couple of videos on aggressively paying off our house, so I'll leave that playlist down below for you if you want to go look at it. I want you to understand that you don't pay off your house early by accident. It is constantly, every single month, putting extra money on your house payment when all your friends are going out to eat and you don't, when they're getting a new purse and you're not, your husband's buddies are buying dirt bikes and your husband isn't, and everyone else is buying sweet new cars and you're not. It doesn't look sexy to constantly pay off your house. It doesn't, but it is very slow. It feels like you make no progress for years and years and years, but one day you'll look up and say, oh my gosh, I'm so close. I'm so close. And I feel that way now. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're so close to being under 100,000. And once we get under 100,000, it's like go time. It feels achievable at that point, and it hasn't felt achievable for a very, very long time. This is a goal that we've been working towards for 6 years. Like, this isn't about luck, and it's not about like making oodles and oodles of money, although increasing your income does help, which is why I donated plasma, which is why I babysat and started teaching online, and why I got a second bachelor's degree in business. It's just been a lot of years of not buying anything, not going to concerts, not going out to eat, Dave riding his bike to work instead of driving a car, so we could do this. And we're really, really close. The goal was always to have the house paid off before Haley left for college. So we've got 3 years to go, and this is a big step in getting to that point. We're at 108,508, and I typically pay off every single month. I always pay off, like I said, this $1,693 or so, about $1,700. So for the rest of the year, August, September, October, like for the rest 5 months, if I stuck to the $1,700 normal, like that's what I always pay, that would pay off $8,500. Oh, look, $8,508. So that would get me right at $100,000. But looking at the budget right now, what if I did this payment for the rest of the year? I don't know that I can right now. This is like a what if kind of thing. And this is what keeps me motivated month by month, because if I had taken this money, I could have gone and bought a car with it instead, which seems way more fun, or gone on a sweet trip, although we're probably not allowed to do that right now. So what if I did the $2,697 times 5 months? Oh, that is $13,485, which would take my 108,508. That would make my final balance in December 95,023. So not only would I get below $100,000, I would obliterate my goal of $100,000, and then I'd have about 2.5 years to pay off $95,000, which sounds like a ton. And I don't like it to look at it like that. I just go 1 year at a time or 6 months at a time. So if I did 95 divided by, 3 years, that's like $30,000 a year. Oh my gosh, that's a lot. Okay, don't look at it that way. Okay, but let's say I start 2021 with $95,000 left on my house. So maybe I pay off $25,000 next year. That leaves me with $70,000 to start 2022. If I don't make it until she's been in college for a semester and then the house is paid off, I think that would be amazing. And then we will have paid off our house in just under 10 years from purchasing it, which has taken a whole lot of work. But the end result is worth it, even though daily or monthly, it doesn't seem that fun. I don't know how it's going to go. There's only 6 months left to accomplish this year's goal. So that's all I'm going to look at right now is the rest of 2020. Getting below 100 grand, actually hitting this 95 would be even better. And then I will reevaluate for 2021 when we get to that point. Here are all of the goals. That was a whole lot of talking. I am sorry. You're probably so sick of me right now. You guys enjoyed this financial update halfway through the year of the craziest year I've experienced in a long time. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thank you so much. I will see you in the next video.